Let's talk about the tribal council for a couple of minutes. The significance of the torch and the flame being extinguished. How important or how significant has it become in the storytelling of Survivor?
You know, it's funny about the torch because Mark wasn't even 100% sure on the torch in the beginning. I mean, I think he pretty sure he would use it, but he would say, you know, we're probably gonna have a torch and we're gonna snuff it and put it out. And it's symbolic because fire represents life. Think about it, Jeff. Fire represents life, right? If you don't have fire, I mean, you're gonna die. That's where all these lines came from that we say. There was no script. We didn't sit down and write it. They just started evolving as the show evolved. And fire represents life was one that he really wanted to hit. It became a part of this thing that I say at every first tribal council now, fire represents your life. It's corny, but the whole thing is corny. If you look at just what we're saying, it's very corny. 20 Americans have been dropped in a remote island. Okay, not really. They left home, they got a passport, we paid for it. But in the story, that's what's happened. So in the story, the torch is very important. It's symbolic. You're out. When that thing is out, it's done. And I've done enough tribals that I can see in the eyes of people. A lot of people will watch that torch go out and you wonder what they're thinking because it's over. There's no second chance. And I'm done. I had a shot at $1 million. I'm done. I was totally betrayed by a bunch of goofballs over here that I'd like to scream at, but I'm in shock, so I really don't even know what I want to say. But what Mark was really clear about was red at tribal. Fire. And in some of our seasons of fire, especially before HD, some of our seasons, tribal council is hard to see. It's not lit like a game show. It's lit like, because it really was fire. In fact, our first season, it was fire. And then in the second season, we added a couple of little lights to give us a little light on people with a little red gel. But for the most part, that center fire is putting off a lot of source.
Yeah.
And then he was very clear, when they leave, the second they leave tribal council, it's blue. And so that was very important to him. A funny story about the Tribe of Spoken is I had a whiteboard in the creative room and I'm trying to come up with the equivalent of, is that your final answer? Because millionaire was the rage. And we have a photo of it somewhere. We had 40 different things, and none of them were any good. They were all just variations on, is that your final answer? And I like, we're down to 2 days before we're gonna shoot and start the show, and I'm thinking, man, I can't just snuff the torch. I mean, what are you gonna say? And I didn't have it. And I'm talking with Mark, and I go, look, I hate to ask you this, but I feel like I need to say something at the end. And he said, yeah. Say, obviously, your tribe don't want you around no more. and I'm thinking, oh, God, that doesn't work. And I said, I don't know. And he goes, Jeff, what do you want me to say? I mean, it's the way it is. The tribe has spoken. You've got to go. And the only thing I did was grab the Tribe has spoken from Mark. And years later, we were being interviewed, and somebody asked him, where did that come from? And he said, I think you did. I think you came up with it, Jeff. And I had that moment with the devil and the angel. And I went, oh my God, I could take it right here. I said, no, you came up with it.
But you found it at least.
Yeah, I listened.
Yeah, but great impression, by the way. These ongoing impressions of Mark Burnett are very, very good.
He's so fun to impersonate.